The bizarre secret of the most handsome slave in Texas history, minus 1,851. Texas. 1,851. On the cotton plantations of the Whitmore farm, everyone talked about him. Josiah, the most handsome slave who had ever set foot on those lands. Eyes as green as emeralds, skin of polished bronze, features that seemed sculpted by divine hands. But there was something more. ... Something no one could explain. Why did such a beautiful man never show interest in any woman? Why did he spend his nights kneeling, whispering prayers that no one understood? And above all, what terrible secret made him wake up every morning with muffled screams? The truth about Josiah was more bizarre and disturbing than anyone could have imagined. A truth that, when revealed, would shake the foundations of that farm and forever change the fate of two imprisoned souls. Josiah was 24 years old when he arrived at the Whitmore plantation, chained and silent. Unlike the other slaves, he didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't beg. He only prayed. His calloused hands held a rough wooden cross, and his lips moved in constant prayers. "That one's different," muttered the foreman Samuel, spitting on the ground as he watched the newcomer. "Too handsome to be a farmhand. I'm going to have trouble with him." But Josiah worked. He worked harder than 3 men combined from sunrise to sunset under the scorching Texas heat. His faith was his strength. Every lash he received, every insult, every humiliation, he offered it all to God in silent devotion. It was on one of those sweltering afternoons that she appeared. Clara Whitmore, daughter of the plantation owner, 17 years old, with hair as blonde as ripe wheat and blue eyes that reflected an inexplicable sadness. She shouldn't have been there among the slaves, but Clara had a dangerous habit of disobeying. "You ... double quotes," she whispered, paralyzed as she saw Josiah for the first time. "You're hurt." Josiah kept his eyes downcast, as expected. "It's nothing, ma'am. Just scratches from work." But Clara saw. She saw the deep marks on his back, saw the blood staining his tattered shirt, and something inside her broke. "Come with me," she ordered, with an authority that didn't match her soft voice. "I'll take care of those wounds." "Miss, I can't. I'm not asking. I'm ordering." That night in the stables, while Clara cleaned Josiah's wounds with cloths soaked in water and herbs, she asked the question that would change everything. "Why are you always praying? What are you asking God for?" Josiah closed his eyes. His hands trembled. "I'm asking for strength, my lady. Strength to endure. What I've done." "What did you do?" The silence that followed was so dense that Clara had difficulty breathing. When Josiah finally looked up at her, his eyes were filled with such deep, devastating pain that she almost recoiled. "I killed someone, ma'am. Someone I loved more than my own life." Clara should have run away. He should have called his father, the overseers, anyone. But something in Josiah's voice, in the raw sincerity of his confession, kept her there, kneeling beside him in the stables that smelled of hay and sweat. "Tell me," she whispered, knowing she was crossing a dangerous line. "Tell me what happened." Josiah took a deep breath, his fingers gripping the wooden cross he never let go of. "On the plantation where I used to live, in North Carolina, there was a woman, Sarah. She was everything to me. My wife before God, even though no white man recognized our union." Her voice faltered, and Clara saw tears streaming down Josiah's masculine face. It was the first time she had seen a man, especially a slave, cry. "Sarah was expecting our child, 6 months pregnant. She was so happy, ma'am. She would touch her belly and tell me that this baby would be free, that God would find a way to set us free." He swallowed hard. But her master, Master Hutchinson, he wanted her. And what a white man wants, he takes. Clara felt nausea rise in her throat. She knew stories like this. Whispers among the slaves, secrets kept in the shadows. But hearing it from Josiah's own lips made it all both horrible and real. "I was in the fields when it happened," Josiah continued, his voice now a trembling whisper. "I heard screams. I ran back to the barracks and found her. Sarah was on the ground, bleeding. Hutchinson was on top of her, and she was trying to push him away to protect our son, ... and you, ... I pulled him off her. That's all. I just pushed that demon away from my wife. Josiah clenched his fists, but he fell, hit his head on a rock. He died instantly. Clara covered her mouth with her hands, her heart racing. They beat me. They dragged me to the whipping post and lashed me until I passed out. But before I lost consciousness, I saw Sarah. She was lying on the ground, motionless. Our son, ... Her voice shattered completely. Our son was never born, ma'am. She bled to death, and no one did anything to save her. They said it was God's judgment for me daring to touch a white man. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of Josiah's stifled sobs. Clara, without thinking, reached out and touched his face, a gesture that could cost them both their lives if they were seen. It wasn't your fault, she murmured. You were protecting your family, but it was because of me that she died. If I hadn't reacted, if I had controlled myself, ... then she would have been raped. Her son would have been lost either way. Clara held Josiah's face in both hands, forcing him to look her in the eyes. You did what any real man would do, what any Christian should do, protect the innocent. Josiah stared at her, and in that moment, something passed between them. An impossible, dangerous, forbidden connection. In the weeks that followed, Clara and Josiah met in secret. Always in the stables after nightfall when the rest of the farm slept. She brought him food, medicine, sometimes just her silent presence while he prayed. Why do you do this? Josiah asked one night, genuinely confused. Risking your reputation, your safety, why? Clara hesitated before answering. Her fingers nervously fiddled with the fabric of her dress. Because for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm doing something that truly matters. My father, my mother, they raised me to be a porcelain doll, to smile, nod, and eventually marry some rich farmer. She looked up at Josiah. But you, when I look at you, I see something real, something true. Little Miss Clara, only Clara. When we are alone, only Clara. Josiah shook his head. This can't happen. What you're feeling, it can't happen. And what am I feeling? Clara challenged, moving closer to him. You tell me since you seem to know. Josiah looked away, his jaw clenched. You're confusing gratitude with something else. This too shall pass. Don't treat me like a child. Clara's voice came out louder than she intended, and they both froze, expecting to hear footsteps. Nothing. She continued more quietly. I'm 17. I know how I feel. And I know how you feel too. Even if I felt it, Josiah said slowly, each word seeming torn from his chest, it wouldn't change a thing. I am your father's property. You are my master's daughter. This world wasn't made for people like us to be together. Then let's go to a world that is. Clara held his hands, ignoring all the risks. We'll run away. To the north. To Canada. I heard there's no slavery there. We can start over. Be free, Clara. Josiah's voice was firm, yet gentle. They would hunt us down. Your father would send slave hunters. We wouldn't even reach the Mississippi before being captured. And when they caught us, ... He touched her face with a tenderness that contrasted with his calloused hands. They would hang me, and you would be ruined forever. Tears streamed down Clara's face. I don't care. I'd rather be ruined and free than live in this gilded prison. But I care, Josiah whispered. I lost Sarah. I lost my son. I can't lose you too. Even if it's just to protect you from myself. Clara pulled him close, and for the first time their lips met. It was a desperate, forbidden kiss, laden with all the pain and impossibility of their situation. When they parted ways, they both knew there was no turning back. They had crossed the line. And in 1851, in Texas, such a transgression had only one possible outcome: blood. Their secret lasted 2 months. 2 months of furtive meetings, whispered words, and promises they both knew were impossible to keep. But it was Sarah May, an elderly slave who worked in the big house, who finally found out. Silly girl, she hissed to Clara one morning when the two were alone in the laundry room. Do you think no one noticed? The way you look at him? How he disappears every night? Clara paled. Sarah May, please, silence! The old slave woman gripped Clara's arm with surprising force. You have no idea the danger you're in. Not just for yourself, but for all of us. If Mr. Whitmore finds out, ... he won't find out. He's already figured it out. Clara's world stopped. Her legs went weak. What ... what did you say? Sarah May pushed her into a small storeroom, closing the door behind them. Her voice was urgent and low. "Your father knows. Overseer Samuel saw you last night. He went straight to tell Mr. Whitmore." No, double quotes. Clara began to hyperventilate. "Josiah. He's going to kill Josiah. He'll do worse than that, girl. Your father summoned Judge Morrison and Sheriff Thompson. They're going to hold a public trial. They're going to hang Josiah in the town square as an example." Clara felt bile rising in her throat. When? Tomorrow at noon. There was no time. There was no plan. Only pure despair coursed through Clara's veins as she ran toward the slave quarters, ignoring Sarah May's cries for her to stop. He found Josiah handcuffed, locked in the barn, his face covered in fresh blood. They had already begun to beat him. "Clara, double quotes," he whispered when he saw her. "You shouldn't be here." She fell to her knees before him, her hands trembling as she touched his bruised face. "I'll get you out of here. I'll find a way. There's no way." Josiah's voice was calm, resigned. "This is the price, Clara. The price for daring to love beyond my means." "No," Clara cried. "I won't accept this. God can't be so cruel. God is not being cruel." Josiah smiled weakly, his teeth stained with blood. "He gave me you. Even if only for a short time, he gave me the chance to feel love again, to feel hope. That's more than I deserved. You deserve everything." Clara sobbed now, clinging to him. "You deserve to be free. You deserve to be happy." It was then that Josiah revealed the final secret. The most bizarre secret of all. Clara. "There's something you need to know. About me. About who I really am." She stared at him, confused through her tears. "My name isn't just Josiah," he said slowly. "It's Josiah Thaddeus Cunningham. I am ... I was. A free man. The world stopped." "What?" "I was born free, Clara. My parents were freed blacks in Boston. I had documents, an education, a life." His words came out quickly now. "But when Sarah died, when I killed Hutchinson, those papers were destroyed. I was sold into slavery, sent to Texas, my identity erased." Clara covered her mouth, the horror of the revelation hitting her like a runaway train. So ... so they can't do anything to you? If you're free, I am no longer the truth, Clara. Not without proof, not without witnesses. And everyone who knew the truth is in North Carolina, 1,000 miles from here. But Clara was already on her feet, her mind racing. Her documents ... where are they? Destroyed, burned. But there must be records. Birth certificates, baptismal records, something. Josiah looked at her, and for the first time in months, he saw something he thought he had lost forever. "Hope. The Baptist Church of Boston," he whispered. "Reverend James Parker. He baptized me. He knows my family." Clara stood up, her determination renewed. "Then that's where I'm going. Clara, Boston is weeks away. I don't care if it's at the ends of the earth." She kissed him one last time, desperately. "I'm going to save you, Josiah. I swear to God I will." Clara knew she didn't have time to get to Boston, but he had something more valuable: information. And in a time when telegraph communication was beginning to spread across the country, perhaps there was a chance. She stole her father's fastest horse and galloped to the nearby town of San Felipe, arriving at the telegraph station shortly after dawn. The operator, a thin man named Tobias, frowned when he saw her. "Miss Whitmore, does your father know you're here? I need to send an urgent telegram to Boston, to the Baptist Church. It's about ... double quotes." Clara hesitated, then decided to tell the truth. "It's about an innocent man who will be hanged tomorrow." Tobias studied her for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he nodded. "Dictate the message." Clara wrote with trembling hands. "Reverend Parker, stop Josiah. Thaddeus Cunningham, imprisoned Texas. Stop will be executed tomorrow. Stop need. Confirmation of free birth. Urgently stop." The telegram was sent. Now all that remained was to wait. But time was a luxury Clara didn't have. When she returned to the farm, she found her father waiting for her on the porch, his eyes as cold as stone. "Where were you?" Clara raised her chin, refusing to show fear. "In the city." "Doing what?" "Praying. In church." Elias Whitmore descended the steps slowly, each step deliberate. "Don't lie to me, Clara. I know exactly what you went to do. Do you think I'm an idiot?" "No, Dad. I think he's a man who's about to commit murder." The slap came swiftly, turning Clara's face to the side. She tasted blood in her mouth but didn't cry. She wouldn't give herself that satisfaction. "That black man put ideas in your head," Elias growled. "He seduced you, corrupted you. Tomorrow, when they hang him on the gallows, you'll watch. You'll see what happens to slaves who forget their place." "He's not a slave," Clara shouted. "Josiah is a free man. He was born free in Boston." Elias laughed a harsh, humorless sound. "And you believe that? The lies of a desperate black man? These are not lies. I sent a telegram to his church. We will have confirmation in a few hours. In a few hours, your little obsession will be dead." Elias grabbed his daughter's arm with brutal force. "And you're going to marry Henry Morrison, the judge's son, next week. It's decided." Clara was dragged into her room and locked inside. Outside, a guard was positioned. She was now a prisoner in her own home. The hours dragged on like an eternity. Clara prayed as she had never prayed before, kneeling beside the bed, her hands clasped so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "Lord Jesus, if you ever heard my prayers, hear them now. Save Josiah. Show him the truth. Don't let an innocent man die. Please, please, double quotes." As the sun began to set, Clara heard a noise outside. Rushing to the window, she saw something that made her heart stop. They were erecting a gallows. Right there in the farmyard. They weren't going to wait until tomorrow. They were going to hang Josiah at sunset, in front of all the slaves, as a warning. Clara screamed, pounded on the door, begged to be released. Nothing. Nobody came. It was Sarah May who finally opened the door late at night when the guard had fallen asleep. "Quick, girl! We don't have much time. Where is Josiah?" "Still in the barn. They changed the execution to dawn." "When the sun rises, double quotes." Sarah May didn't need to finish the sentence. Clara ran down the hallway, down the stairs, across the garden. She reached the barn and found the door locked. But through a crack in the wood, she could see him. Josiah was kneeling, praying. His body was covered in wounds, but his lips still moved in silent prayer. "Josiah!" Clara called. He raised his eyes, and even in the darkness, she saw the love in them. "Clara, you need to leave. Forget all this. Live your life. Never." She pressed her hands against the door. "The answer from Boston will come. It will come in time. You will be free." But they both knew the truth. Dawn was only hours away, and no telegram had arrived. The sun rose red over Texas, as if the sky itself were bleeding. All the slaves on the Whitmore plantation were gathered in the courtyard, forced to witness. The gallows were ready, the rope tested. Josiah was brought in, his hands chained, his steps firm despite his wounds. He did not plead, he did not cry. He simply raised his eyes to heaven and whispered, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Clara stood on the porch of the large house, restrained by two men, tears streaming down her face as she watched the man she loved being led away to his death. Elias Whitmore read the crimes. Josiah, a slave owned by this plantation, is accused of seducing a white woman, insolent behavior, and inciting rebellion. The sentence is death by hanging, to be carried out immediately. The executioner placed the rope around Josiah's neck. Clara screamed, her voice tearing the air. "Stop! Please, stop!" But nobody listened to her, or they pretended not to hear. The executioner pulled the lever, and then the miracle happened. "Stop! In the name of the law, stop!" A man on horseback appeared at the farm gate, galloping frantically, waving a piece of paper. Behind him was Sheriff Thompson. "A telegram has arrived. From Boston. Stop the execution." Everything stopped. Josiah hung from the rope, his feet inches from the ground, but the knot hadn't tightened completely. The executioner, confused, looked at Elias Whitmore. "Release him! Now!" The sheriff jumped off his horse, snatching the paper from the messenger's hands. "This man is free! He's always been free!" Confusion filled the courtyard. Josiah was quickly freed from the gallows, falling to his knees on the ground, coughing and choking. Clara broke free from the guards and ran to him, falling beside him, embracing him as if she could keep him in this world by the strength of her will. The sheriff read aloud, "Reverend James Parker of the Boston Baptist Church confirms. Josiah Thaddeus Cunningham, born March 15, 1827, son of Marcus and Elizabeth Cunningham, freed slaves. Baptized and registered as a free man. Illegally kidnapped and enslaved after an incident in North Carolina. Elias Whitmore paled. That's impossible, ... That's the truth, the sheriff declared. And Mr. Whitmore, you committed a federal crime. Illegal enslavement of a free man. Attempted murder. Illegal detention. For the first time in her life, Clara saw fear in her father's eyes. Josiah stood up slowly, Clara still clinging to him. He looked at Elias Whitmore and in a clear, firm voice said, "I forgive you." The silence was absolute. "Did you hear?" Josiah repeated louder. "I forgive you, your tormentors, everyone who hurt me, because that's what Christ taught us. To forgive 70 times 7. Elias Whitmore looked away, unable to face the man he had almost murdered. In the following weeks, everything changed. Josiah was officially declared free. Clara defied her father and refused the arranged marriage. And when Josiah left Texas, beginning his journey back north, Clara went with him. It wasn't easy. They faced prejudice, hostility, and danger at every turn. But they were together, and they were free. Years later in Boston, Josiah became a respected abolitionist, telling his story in churches and halls. Clara was always by his side, his partner in everything. And when people asked how they survived all that, Josiah always answered the same way, by the grace of God, and by the love of a woman brave enough to believe in the truth when the whole world said it was a lie. The bizarre secret of the most beautiful slave in Texas wasn't his beauty. It was his unwavering faith, a faith that moved mountains, a faith that broke chains, a faith that in the end proved stronger than any human injustice. This is just one of many incredible stories of faith, courage, and impossible love that happened during the darkest periods of history. If you want to hear more true stories that will touch your heart and renew your faith, subscribe to the channel right now. Don't miss the upcoming stories that will make you believe that. Even in the most impossible circumstances, love and faith can triumph. Click the subscribe button below. Leave a comment below. Do you believe that stories like this can inspire real change in our world today? We want to know your opinion.